You with the Feds going to be first up over for that team 1 versus Jake Boy Swag over in team 2, dropping down the big Earth Elemental, denying the knockback by You with the Feds. Mages have to force a lot of defense on the Shaman. There goes the wall, might even be the Guardian here as Jake Boy got himself full army of undead surrounding the guy. Stun, just trying to see if he can back up out of there. Biggest sentence has to activate something. Wait a second, there's a lot of damage out of the enhancement. Shemansman, you with Jake Boy did not expect this blinder to do, but he can't even outrun, and that's still big damage. Oh my god, you can't escape it. Once the man ascends, all rules of combat no longer apply to him whatsoever. Nagatara gonna be up next, trying to see if he can get himself a better setup. Gonna be a Poly maybe? Playing their Arcane mage, so just trying to get himself a bit of a setup. Roots to follow. You with the Feds no longer has his big ascendance, but he definitely needs something in order to catch the mage. It is an Arcane, man. The Arcane got a lot of mobility. Nagatara looking for a bit of a reset as You with the Feds hitting him with a lasso. Going to be human rage allowed for Taro as they try to go for a bit of a blink. Barrages to follow, just trying to keep the pressure onto You, but it's going to be a quick root right after leaping in. Desi maybe give a setup. You can't really control the mage. You can't even stun him. Maybe you could Sunder. Gonna be all the time. Honestly, you might just want to purge it, right? You might just want to purge it out. Does try to see if you can remove as many buffs as he can. And Tara with a bit of a backboard with a poly to follow. Try to go for a breath polymorph. Actually ends up getting denied because of your all the time. Still continue to purge Tara as best as possible, removing all of his buffs as it goes to big, a little bit of lust for Tara. Perfect opportunity for it to have a go, but an interrupt on Arcane could actually have a go now. Knockback. I think You with the Feds, if he gets himself a big, maybe a lightning bolt or Elite Blast, I don't really know what kind of abilities he's got going on. That could be the end. There goes his last final bastion of defense besides an ice block, as it's going to be a Spore Cloak last right after. You with the Fez just gives himself a big setup. Tara might just need to go for an ice block. Doesn't even get a chance. I think try to use another global just to maybe stabilize, but maybe underestimated the thunder that came out afterwards. Rapid Fire just going in, massive damage off the bat. Rapid Fire, literally living up to his name. Volley to follow. Death Shock, I'm doing quite a bit of damage. You with the Feds may just actually have to activate some defenses here. It's just gotta try to see if we can double back more Rapid Fires. Just needs to stand there and maybe aim shot the guy back to back. Does he have him so trapped up? I think it might have been a steel trap. It's going to be a stun totem. Rapid Fire does have a wall for this one, as well as a pet, so maybe you could use a pet sack in order to remove some of the crit damage variants out of You with the Feds and reduce some of the damage he takes in general. Turtle Shell to follow. Just trying to see if he can get himself a bit of immunity while changing up positions into a freezing trap. Perfectly set up. Sniper shot. Lasso to stop. It does get a trinket out of Rapid Fire. Scatter to follow. Trying to make that sniper shot open or work, but it's going to be something right after. Big chains to follow. Does himself maybe an aim shot, explosive shot, but You with the Fence does not take any damage whatsoever. This man just keeps trucking on. He doesn't really care about these Hunter's output. We saw Hunters do a lot of damage last night, but it looks like You with the Fence doesn't even care about it. There goes his big defensive, does get forced out, with Julpa's up next. Trying to see if he can maybe use counter or pressure with Guardian, as well as full Ascendance to fight Shield, but a quick AMS, a little bit of damage. Just was able to take him out fairly quickly. Blood is up next. Going to be immediate human ritual out of Chilled to break out of the stun. Stun back into a Bloodstainer. Does see himself the army potentially. He could get the army dead rolling in. Is he even expecting to army like the normal army of the dead or not? I'm not even sure. I think there's an army, maybe Apocalypse potentially. Or maybe he's playing army, but he's also playing the Guile? The Bargain? I'm not even sure which build he'll be playing though. Big disarmament to Chilled. Might be in a bit of trouble. Summoning up the Gargoyle. Sacrificing the Ghoul. Looking for a little bit of healing himself right now. Might be a death pack situation. The Rogue got nothing left. Big. Oh, actually, I think he's playing the Necromantic Bargain. I think he's playing the Apocalypse that has a very short cooldown just so he can have more burst goes. IBF off of that stun. Try to see if he can maybe disengage from Kevin, but he can't really go anywhere. He's got us trapped up in this dome. Maybe he could go for a death pact at some point, but it's going to be big shield evidence out of the Death Knight. At this point, I think you just want to kind of see if we can walk away from the guy, but at this point, Bubble, nothing he can do to stop. It's just going to be Kevin slamming it down. Actually, nothing he can do in this situation with Spellsteal. Going to be up next over as the Arcane Mage Poly to follow Kevin, as well as Autopsis and Airless are the last ones that can hold the fort here. Can Spellsteal bring it back for this team right now? Big blaster onto Kevin. Touch of the Magi? I think he's got no bubble. I think he's got nothing. Once you give up the bubble for any reason, use that bubble for chill pills, no more immunity. I don't even know if he would even have Blessing of Protection or Spell Ward in that case. I guess we'll never know. Airless up next as the Rogue. I like the switch up. Oh, I like the classy look you got going on. The fist weapon is a little different, but everything else kind of classy looking. Got himself full poly onto Airless. I don't know. an Outlaw can beat an Arcane Mage. I feel like in the past you could, right? When Outlaw actually had decent damage, the pistols from afar, the grapple hook together with Shadow Step, all that actually worked in your favor. Survivability you had was pretty good too. You had consistent damage, but right now it's like, right now as a spec, you just basically heal the enemy. So I don't really know how that's gonna go. Spell Steal does pick up the eye. He's waiting for Airless, trying to see if he can find a better angle, and the guy immediately hits him with a Nova. But Rajas can just keep raining on him over and over, just constantly keeping the guy slowed while keeping Spell Steal moving at a brisk pace. And Airless is trying to find himself a bit of cover, but between the arcane orbs, between the rings of fire, between all the Novas, there's only so much you can really do. Trying to go for a killing spree, which is more of a defensive than an offensive ability, but does at least let him kind of reposition. And you can't even really lock down Spell Steal either with stuns. I would say at this point, I think if you can interrupt him on like an Arcane Blast or something, or a Polymorph, just to deny him any kind of mobility, that may be the play. Big damage into Error with the touch of the magic, trying to go counter-offensive with a Shadow Dance. Cheap shot, Kidney Shot at the end. Does finally lock him down for a moment. Trinket to follow, but Spellster just keeps drilling him with more missiles to come. And that's going to be Icebuck available. Autopsy trying to see if he can end them. Does he have a Shatter by any chance? At this point, he does have a Shatter, trying to see if he can shatter defenses on Spellster with a Warbreaker right after. He does have himself an actual go here. Hold on a second. Normally that would be a pretty easy reset for the mage, but maybe Autopsy can make some kind of a play right now. He's trying to find an angle versus Spell Steal. Got himself sharpened blades at the ready. If he can get himself a proper interrupt, he's got plenty of mobility. Gonna be a bit of Reflect. I don't think he'll reflect the Arcane Surge. Big damage onto Autopsy. Knockback to follow. Does get a Shockwave, which is actually pretty good for him. Trying to see if he can leap to re-engage with Spell Steal. It's going to be a Bladestorm staying next to him at the very least, but I don't really know if he can do defensively. Got himself parry right now, as all the defenses are getting used up here before Spell Steal walks away. Does hit him with that Warbreaker. It's going to be there all the time. Maybe not all the time. Freeze to follow, looking for that shifting power. Autopsy does pop, I think, a Reflect at the end. Ring of Fire. He's just gonna have to walk through all of this. As long as Spell Steal just does some kind of damage to the guy, doesn't let his second wind recover. I mean, he's got him. Honestly, he's actually got him. Do you just reflect and interrupt on yourself? I think that's what it was. Touching the magic. Autopsy's barely living it though. Needs a heal right now. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. His fate was sealed. For at least he was just running around trying to find a way out of there. He got good 8 seconds away from the mage. Didn't even matter. Your defense popped off, by the way. As an enhancer, Shamancer did really well. But Spell Steal, I mean, he's on a cleanup duty. Didn't let these boys go any further than that. Let's get us another go in here, yeah?